Good morning, Scholar. Today we are out in my yard and we're going to look at some of my plants and see if all the plants need the same amount of water, soil, sunlight, and space. As you can see, these are my rose bushes. This one's pretty big and will get almost as tall as the fence. I planted these last year and they stayed pretty little, but I knew they were going to get bigger, so I had to put this right amount of space between them. I read the directions, and the directions said place them about 3 or 4 feet apart, which I did, and they're going to get very big. As you can see, some of my plants already have some flower buds on them. These are going to be beautiful red roses. I don't remember the colors of the others, but that doesn't matter. So they needed some space to grow. They also need a lot of sunlight almost all day, which is why I planted them here, because they'll get lots and lots of sunlight where they grow. Let's continue around. Now this looks here very, very little, but this plant, when it's finished growing, I know it will be as tall as my fence. So I know this plant needs a lot of space. It also needs a lot of sunlight. Well, my yard gets a lot of sunlight all day long, which is why I planted these plants, because they need sunlight. But you can look and see they are all different spaces apart. That's because they need different amounts of spaces in order to grow. These plants here, they come up all that by themselves. I don't even plant them. They don't need very much space. So they grow very close together. They grow all through my grass. So these plants need lots of space, sunlight, and water. Let's take a walk around the neighborhood. We've got some tree. I got a tree right here in my yard. That's called a crepe myrtle tree, and will have beautiful pink flowers when it starts to come out and bloom. Do you think this plant needs a lot of space? It sure needs a lot more space than those little rose bushes over there, because it takes up so much room. Now here is a little crepe myrtle bush, but you can see that I had to plant it very far away because I know this one will get very big also. They don't need a whole lot of sunlight, not as much as some of the other plants. Let's take a walk around my neighborhood and see what I have here. Well, let's take a walk across the street. Some of you might have these bushes in your house. Well, not in your house, they would be outside, because they are really pretty big. They are called azaleas, and they grow all over the place down here in Norfolk. They are very, very beautiful and come in lots of different colors. Now you can see that this is a bush, and it's very big, and it needs lots and lots of space, lots and lots of water, lots and lots of soil, but only some sunlight. If it has too much sunlight, it doesn't grow very well. So these are planted on the side of the house that don't get very much sunlight. Now let's take a look at this plant. This plant is called a camellia, and I think it only has about 1 or 2 flowers left on it. Most of them have already fallen off because they bloom when it's kind of chilly outside. This plant is huge. Do you think this plant needs a lot of space? It sure does. In fact, it looks like the people who live here have to keep cutting it in order to keep it from getting as tall as their house. So we can see plants need different amounts of sunlight, space, soil, but I don't know about air. Do you think they all need air? I think they do. I wonder where the air comes from. Think about that. Where does the air come from for the plants? Till next time.